kind of clogged up the networks here. But the final out has been recorded. There's nothing really left. Fans have a few thousand have still stuck around, and they're meandering and reminiscing and doing whatever they're doing and saying their goodbyes and having their hugs. And, I'm going to disagree with what Zenny had said about the city of Oakland. I mean he's right, but I also don't believe that John Fisher ever had made a real effort here. It doesn't feel that way. And I don't know. History will tell, but the blame game can go somewhere else. They're gone. I'm done with them. As far as I'm concerned, today is a funeral for the Oakland A's, and while they'll play the rest of the season out as the Oakland A's, they don't exist anymore as the Oakland A's. They will never play here again. It's been a good 50-something years for them. The last 20 or so have been absolutely dismal. This ownership group has done jack shit to elevate this team. They've done everything on a shoestring budget, hamstringed players, fans, managers, and everybody else at every turn, and then sat here and said it was our fault. Yeah, so don't blame the fans. They never made an effort with us, never signed a player, traded them all away. You can talk to any fan, and they'll tell you all the same thing. Why buy a jersey if this is what we get? That guy will be gone next year. A lot of fans, myself included, would buy jerseys with nothing on it. That was lost revenue by the A's by not producing. And you can sit here and go, well, if they had a ballpark, they'd make more money. Well, they were also started in an era where that didn't exist as well, where they saved money by what? How much are they spending at the Coliseum? We're not spending hundreds of millions or even tens of millions sometimes. But you can't tell me you can't sell a shirt. You can't get a TV deal. These are little things. I'm like, are you telling me you couldn't get sponsorships? These are the same things that the Raiders largely didn't do either. They didn't really try. Unlike baseball, the NFL, you have to compete continuously, even if you're a bottom feeder. There's no way around it. The setup of Major League Baseball allows for bottom feeding owners to profit through failure and ineptitude, and that's where we're at. I guess I did want to play the blame game because I do blame John Fisher. Like, you can blame Oakland all you want, but to say that they are 100% at fault, it would be, I think, derelict, and I would have to put the majority of this on the ownership. Why can't an ownership... Oh, public money is bullshit because why has everybody else in the Bay Area not needed public money? The 49ers didn't need a big public money. Joe Lacob took the Warriors on private money. The Giants had private money. The Rams and Chargers had private money. The Lakers had private money. The Clippers had private money. The Kings had private money. The Ducks had private money. But for some reason, Oakland made no private money. Everybody needs a handout, but it's the same people. All you got to do is look around you and you see billions of dollars in available. Oakland is a city. John Fisher is a billionaire. He doesn't even put his own name on the building. Why isn't this the Gap Coliseum? Why isn't this the old Navy Coliseum? That son of a bitch wouldn't even put his own name on shit. I'm like, this is this tired old thing of there's no money in Oakland. Nobody needs a handout. But even with Howard Terminal, if everything was correct and true, there was infrastructure money for the ballpark, more than they asked for, as well as the EIFD. The EIFD was public money. They had public money. It's not going to be the whole thing, just like they don't have the whole thing in Las Vegas. But they also won't have any ancillary development either. They're not going to own hotels. They're not going to own apartment buildings, retail, and everything else around that ballpark. Somehow they're just going to make all this money. I understand California and Oakland. Oakland made things a little difficult. Yeah, I mean, we can sit here and argue all day about where they play and if they played and everything else, but at the end of the day, they're done in Oakland. It was sad. It was tough to watch. I was here more for the people and the experience than the team. I don't even know who half these guys are. I've been so checked out this last couple seasons. This is the only game I've been to. My son's come to a couple with his friends and groups and stuff, but we went to a couple out-of-town games. We went to Philadelphia and Boston. We're a fickle fan base? Yeah, we aren't going to tolerate 20 years of bullshit. I mean, like, why would anybody do that? You know, you have Chicago right now, who has even worse attendance than, or roughly the same attendance as Oakland, and they've won a World Series in the last couple decades. I love how everybody's just like, you know, hey, it's Oakland's fault, it's Oakland's fault. Nobody wants to sit here and take any responsibility for a poorly run team by a spoon-fed billionaire who's never had to earn a dime of his own money. He's made his family made his money off of sweatshops. He just wants the money. It's not even that. He could have money here. He could. He doesn't want to spend the money to make the money, and that's how business works. It's always been that way. But the way that baseball works versus, say, the NFL, there's no salary caps, there's no floor. You can get all this TV money, and if you're not bringing in this X amount of things, you can also get the competitive balance tax or profit sharing or whatever you want to call it. Technically you got two teams that left Oakland, and you could argue that the Raiders left because of the preferential treatment that the A's got in regards to a lease in the Coliseum. That's very possible. But the thing is Mark Davis also didn't have the money. He needed about half of it to be coughed up, and then he couldn't get $1 billion from B of A in Oakland. I mean, he never really tried. That's the thing, is we get down to these people who never tried. In Oakland, things happened. I would say they moved mountains for the A's. You know, getting the various Texas get it done. I mean, hey, I get it. But should you get should you get a free house from the government? Because now that's what you're saying that baseball should get. Played barbell and I'm sorry, hardball. Okay, thank you. I'm like, what? Well, yeah. I mean, that is kind of the long and short of it. The Raiders didn't leave because it wasn't a viable city. They left because they felt disrespected, and that was what Mark Davis said. He felt disrespected. For what it's worth, though, the blame game can end now. It's over here. They'll go to Sacramento for 3 to 4 years. Well, if Vegas even gets built at all, we'll see how that goes. The implosion of the Tropicana happens in just a couple weeks. The A's had a subcontractor, I don't know what you want to call it, symposium. I don't know. They had a meeting with where they said that, here's a little bit more details on the building itself, and anyways, they plan to break ground in March or April of next year, and then now I guess we're looking at 3 to 4 years if there's no delays. But we haven't even seen a detailed, financing plan. If you listen to guys like Steve Hill, they're telling you that you might see one at the end of the year. This whole thing was rushed, and the A's never did any. We have all this thank you Oakland stuff, but I don't know if you can see it up there or maybe back there. But at no point had the owner ever come out and address the fans. Dave Cavill's been silent for months. Nobody treated the fans like we were important or anything else, and that's why fans largely left and stopped coming to games. I know literally dozens of people, personally, friends of mine who used to come to games, who stopped after Josh Donaldson got traded. That was the final straw. A few of them were after Yoenis Cespedes got traded. Final straw of just player after player, favorite after favorite is no longer here anymore. They're off somewhere else, just so that we can get some prospects who, honestly, most of them have never even seen a major league field because they just didn't cut it. These were gambles when we had bona fide players. They said, hey, we thought we could, in John Fisher's letter, he's like, I thought we could, we had this goal of, putting together a championship team. And when you had the pieces, you never fulfilled the rest of the deal. When you said, hey, well, we're probably a couple pitchers short. We didn't get a couple pitchers. We traded some other pitchers and didn't get any more pitchers. Let me see what all this noise is here. I don't know. There's people making noise. There's still folks on the field. The police are still out here. People are finally starting to leave. There's been minimal breakage as far as I know. I watched a guy bust a couple cup holders. Probably. It sounds like that is the case, and it still could be the case. At least if you listen to the recent stories, I don't know how true they are, that maybe things aren't all peachy in Sacramento. They're going to have to spend a few $1 million, making conversions and updates and putting in a turf field, which there's a lot of doubts about as well. The players largely seem to be against it. We'll see how the players' union goes. They usually bend the knee, and if MLB really wants it, they'll probably make some concessions. But at the end of the day, I think it's over here. And we could talk about what happens here at the Coliseum. The Roots, I wish, but is it going to put in 20,000 people? Is it going to pull 30,000 people? I don't even know if it's going to pull 10,000 people. That remains to be seen. Maybe the Ballers can play a couple games here. Again, they don't even pull 3,000 people. I do believe that the Ballers facility is lackluster. But then again, they only had 3 months to put it together before the actual season started. So they have some issues with sight lines and the seats themselves and concessions and bathrooms and stuff. So maybe that gets built out and things improve over the next few years. I hope they do. I have personally invested in that team. Oakland's got its work cut out for it, but if things are the way they are right now, I don't ever see us getting anything again. Zenny is right in a lot of things where he, I disagree with some of his stuff, but I agree in others. Zenny knows his shit. Would they still be called they're going to be the A's, but they won't be the Sacramento A's or the Oakland A's of Sacramento or the Las Vegas A's or any of that stuff. They're just going to be, in all the schedules and stuff, ATH, so there's no city designation where everything is like HOU for Houston and SF. It reminds me a bit of Montreal. I actually watched a video of that game last night, and I was like, wow, this is us in just a few hours, you know. Yeah, I love that there's these few people, the people you expect. You know, I had to come and be with them. You know, the right field bleacher guys, they're mostly still here. The left field guys have mostly come over here. You know, we did too. You know, there's more history in this stadium than most other stadiums combined. You know, there's only a few places that have the, what do you want to call it? The longevity, the you know, not even just the longevity, but the success. You know, it will be torn down, and that's just an inevitability. Whatever they come up with this property, you know, it's pretty safe to say that this is done and over with. And you know, there are some rumblings of other stuff happening. You know, I mean, even if for some reason maybe the A's, or not the A's, but Oakland is somehow awarded a replacement franchise, you know, that team can get off the ground right now, play games here for 2 or 3 years while they build an actual ballpark somewhere else, and be ready. Same thing with an NFL team. You can put an NFL team here, play some games, and stay relevant and make money while you get started. And then once you build your facilities, you know, you've got something to work with. So there's that jumping off point here. I remember my brain is kind of fried today. But AASEG had said at one point that, you know, there's a possibility of playing cricket here. If you didn't know, cricket is the #2 sport in the entire world, just behind soccer. Probably mostly because of India. That's 1 billion people right there, you know, who regularly watch cricket. It is a growing sport. I didn't believe it when I saw it, and I had to look, and those guys are packing 70,000 people into a stadium for cricket. I still couldn't get into it. I watched a couple games, and I'm like, I'm still out. It's a little easier to follow for me than football, soccer, but it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, that's might be a possibility now. USFL, we'll see if it lasts that long. I had heard that maybe that they had talked to Oakland about playing here in the early stages of the XFL, but since it's a spring league, that baseball wasn't having it, and we get back to basically the idea of flipping the stadium every weekend for football to baseball. It definitely keep the grounds crew busy, but yeah, this is sad. I got my tears out. You know, I've been preparing for it for most of the season. You know, once the weeks and days and hours got down to minutes and outs, then it really happened. And then that last couple outs was really tough. A lot of people broke down, crying, hugging. It was rough. It was really rough. The 7th inning stretch was tough. You know, it's some little song that you sang with thousands of people 100 times a year. I wouldn't say 100 times. You know, 50, 60 times a year sometimes. I used to work here. I'd be here for 81 plus games, depending on if they made it to the playoffs or not. There's a few times they did, and most of the times they didn't. You know, coming out here as a kid, bring my own kid, just a few days old. He's grown up here. You know, making friends with so many people. You know, everybody from the days when I was a kid in Richmond, and Yeah, just rolling out here and looking through the slats, riding Bart out here, sitting in Hindu land, the game 3 of the 89 series, which I was, yeah, that's memorable. There's a lot of stuff I want to say, but I don't feel like I should say. It's because there are stories that are private and closer to my heart and personal to me that I don't think is for everybody else. And you want to drink it all in. Really, is what's going on at this point. That's what I'm doing. I'm glad though that people didn't, really. There was one guy who did storm the field, and then a few things thrown out, but not like last year when people were throwing stuff on the field. There was a protest game. There was a couple smoke bombs that got thrown out, and not a lot of breakage that I saw, but so fans were mostly respectful. A lot of people just didn't want to give the A's the I told you so. We ain't getting nothing like a WrestleMania here. That'll probably be Levi again. If they did it in San Francisco proper, then it would be at I don't even know what it's called anymore, Oracle Park. Anyway, we're going to move this out to the parking lot here pretty soon. I'm mostly waiting for Bart to be manageable. I was going to come out here and party with everybody else in the morning, but apparently around 8 a.m., the line trying to get in before the gates open was already pretty bad. The pre-sale parking passes were gone, and people were being directed to specific spaces. Tailgating was actually kind of at a minimum today, and not as much as I thought. I thought it'd be like a Raiders game, but not even close. Because I'm guessing that it's because this is more of a solemn affair. This is not the party we wanted. But anyways, I'm getting a sunburn. I'm gonna get going here. I do have some other video that I would like to put together and have time to edit. But this is a tough one, and I'm missing some people here. And all right, guys, take care. Let's go, Oakland.